Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. We are in the process of bringing forth the redemption, the Geula, the days of Mashiach that we've been promised by the Almighty, by Hashem Himself. And today, I think it's important we speak about this topic of really bringing out the spirituality enclosed within the physicality. And this applies to every detail of our lives in a practical way. There's this idea of using the physical for spiritual. And sometimes people, when they're involved in Torah, and then they go into the world, into physical, mundane matters, and sort of that flame cools off, and they lose that spark. But the whole point is not to lose that fire that you have when learning Torah, and to go out in the world and lose the spark. God forbid. The point is to take the fire that you have when you're learning Torah and bring it into the world, and see the Torah within the world as well. Find Hashem within the world. Not just to use the physical for spiritual, but to find the spiritual that's even within the physical itself. Analogy of this is the Tanaim. I heard there was a Tana in the Gemara that when he would eat meat, he would eat very fatty meat and spiced wine, strong wine, and the good taste of the meat would help him meditate on deep Torah concepts even better. So the person likes to have coffee in the morning, so you could elevate that coffee and say, look, this coffee, not only is this coffee going to give me the energy to learn Torah, but the taste of this coffee, this experience, it will put me in a better mood, and I'll be able to learn Torah even better with this. Even while sipping it, I can think about Torah because it has a good taste. Taste it activates all these chemicals within our brains, chemical reactions, and it's able to open things up, and we're able to think even better. This also can be by way of example, so to give even another example, a person goes to exercise. So when you exercise, so there's a way to say, look, I have to take care of my body. Even the Rambam says to take care of your body. So when I'm exercising, I'm taking good care of my health. I'm serving Hashem through that, and that's 100% true. Even deeper, exercise causes also sort of like a form of chemical reactions within the brain, and a person releases endorphins while working out. So a person feels in an uplifted mood, feels happier while working out, because there's chemical reaction in the brain. So if a person will meditate upon Torah when exercising, in the deep breathing, the heart's beating, they could also understand Torah deeper because there's a chemical reaction with the brain, the blood's flowing. They could see things from a different perspective, from a different mood. They're in a different mood, in a different mindset. So they could meditate on Torah from that perspective. That's also a deep thing. As well as also using by way of analogy to help connect to Hashem. I remember I thought of an example. I'll give a personal experience that I had a few days ago. I remember once I was going on vacation, I was going on a trip, and I was like, wow, I'm going to miss my parents, because I wasn't going with my parents on this vacation. I was like, wow, I'm going to miss my parents. So I thought of an analogy. Wow, it was a real feeling. I was like, wow, I'm going to miss my parents. So I was thinking, if that's how much I miss my parents for going on a little vacation, how much more so does my neshama miss Hashem, really coming down into this physical world, and seemingly God is hidden from us. And we were, as you know, before we were born, our soul was united with Hashem, completely one with God. And as we come down to the world, seemingly our soul goes through the experience of being, so to speak, pulled away from Hashem. So how much more so do I miss Hashem than just that feeling of when I was a kid and I missed my parents? So I'm using that experience to get closer to Hashem. We all have these experiences. Why does Hashem put us through these experiences in the first place? So that we can use it to get closer to Him. And I think this is the way we bring Mashiach. Obviously, there's many things about bringing Mashiach, but this is really what's spoken about, is that when Mashiach comes, all the sparks will be elevated. And there's hidden godly sparks trapped within the physicality. And the physicality is a mashal, is an analogy for the spiritual. That, as you know, we're created in the image of God. This physical world is a reflection of God, is a reflection of godliness. So the fact that we go through an experience, whatever it may be, maybe a person misses their parents, so they think, wow, I miss my parents. How much more so do I miss Hashem? And that analogy is the tool. You use it as a tool to get closer to Hashem, and you really feel bonded with Hashem because Hashem is shining through that analogy. Hashem put that analogy in front of you to bring you closer to Him. When a person eats good food on Shabbos, they say, wow, this food is a pleasure. It's a pleasurable food. My body's experiencing pleasure eating this food. And so don't just eat just to eat. Think about Hashem and say, wow, try to think about Torah because the taste of the food could help you understand the Torah deeper. And you're elevating the food by doing that. And thinking, wow, if my body enjoys food like this, how much more so does my soul enjoy Hashem? And how much more pleasure will I derive when Hashem's revealed, open and revealed in this world? And even deeper than that, a person can say, wow, if I'm experiencing pleasure from this, from so-and-so, how much more so does Hashem experience pleasure from me serving Him? Because as you know, this creation of the world, the whole purpose of the creation of this world and all the higher levels above it is so that we can serve Hashem, we can fulfill the Torah, so that we can carry out God's will. So that's Hashem's greatest desire. It causes Hashem an oineg, a delight. Hashem experiences a tremendous pleasure by us carrying out His will. So we can take joy, we can experience a great amount of joy recognizing that by us fulfilling God's will, how much pleasure we're causing Hashem. Because causing someone else pleasure causes you pleasure. To know that you're giving someone else pleasure causes you pleasure. So we use these analogies to get closer to Hashem. Another example is music. When a person listens to music, it can help them meditate upon Hashem deeper and really tap into these emotions, deep, profound thoughts and emotions that they experience, and use them and channel them toward Hashem. So the main purpose of this video is to bring Mashiach. That Mashiach, the whole idea of Mashiach's coming is that the physical and the spiritual will be openly united. And Hashem will shine through the physicality as well. So when we try, all it takes is the effort. We have the will. We make the will that whatever physical experience we go through, we're going to try to see it through a godly lens, to see it through the way Hashem wants us to see it, through the lens of our soul, that this is God placing this experience in front of me to bring me closer to Him. When we enter that headspace, then we create the vessel, and we're directly connected to Hashem. And when this happens, this is what the redemption will be like. That the physicality will be a revelation of God, and everyone will know Hashem. It says when Mashiach comes, everybody will know Hashem. Knowledge of Hashem will cover the earth like the water covers the sea, like the sea bank, like the floor of the sea. You know how if you were like to look at how there's like a floor to the sea, there's like the sand at the bottom of the sea, it's completely subsumed by water, it's completely covered by water, totally covered by water. So too when Mashiach comes, the world will be totally covered by knowledge of Hashem. And this is by Hashem wants us to make the first effort. Hashem wants us to want it. Hashem is there. We just have to let Him in. He's always there. The more we let Him in, the more He comes in. And that's because Hashem wants us to want it. When we want it, when we make the effort, that creates the deepest relationship between the Almighty and ourselves. Thank you. May Hashem bless you. May we experience redemption now.